Hello again. Welcome back to part 2 of the procedural shader scene tutorial. This is where we got to, and first things first, I'm going to change this horrible pinky red colour to a bit more brown, and yeah, it's just too much, and then maybe make it a bit lighter. That's ridiculous. Don't be silly. Alright, okay. I mean, that'll do. Might be too much. We might be able to do. So what we're going to just quickly do, in fact, I'm trying to think for the purposes of this, it might be better to just go. No, that's a silly idea. That's a dumb idea. Okay, ignore that. Let's put that back in here. And just for this, I'm going to get rid of most of that because we're going to add some dust, and it's going to be based on ambient occlusion data. So first off, Shift A, is it input? Yep, ambient occlusion, and Shift A, converter, mix RGB. Have we got a mix RGB? I don't know where the mix RGB is. It's in my quick menu. Texture. Oh, Jesus, I have no idea. There she blows under color. Didn't I look in there? Crazy. We're going to need a mix RGB and another color ramp. Shift A, color converter, color ramp. Plop that in there like that. Plug that into the back there, and then plug that into the top. Am I doing this right? I don't know. Hang on. Yeah. So, and then from plug the color of the rocks into the lower of the two connections, and then plop that here. Plop that in there to replace. So, and if you have, I think I should have said this in the first one, I didn't, Node Wrangler, under Edit Preferences and then Add-ons, if you type Node Wrangler, make sure you tick that, and then Control-Shift-Click the color ramp, because we just need to see, because the ambient occlusion is using these areas where there's not much light, and you can see by dragging up the grey scale, the blacks, sorry, we can make it a bit more obvious. And this, we want that set to multiply, because we only want to use the dark data, not the white. So multiply will ignore it, and then put it straight up, and then plug that. I don't know why. Oh, it's because of the viewer. Plug that. Control Shift Click. It'll put us back into this mode. So, you know, if there was no dust, it looks quite clean. But if you bring a bit in, you can see it, you know, adding some dark patches. We went crazy with it. It's all dirt. But we don't want to do that. So we're just going to add a little bit of dirt right there. Okay, so that's the rock ready for shaping and messing around with. I'm just going to bring these windows a bit closer together. And where's my camera? There. So with your camera selected, if you press Shift and apostrophe, which on my keyboard is under the at key, like this, then you can WSAD it like a first person shooter, like you're going shooting in Counter-Strike or something, but you're not, you're just zooming in, like dollying in. So I've just used a W there, and when you click the mouse you're out of walk mode. So let's say the camera's there, and I want to put this somewhere else. Let me turn this on so we can see. So in my top view, which I always have here, I'm going to rotate it a bit on the Z-axis, and then I'm going to drag it over here, maybe make it a bit bigger. Alright, and now we just want to send it around a corner. So the good thing about using the object output in the texture coordinate is that this becomes very simple. So if you just nip over to viewport shading, tab into edit mode, select your edges, and then double click this edge, I suppose. I normally go up, press 7 and go to top view because it's easier because I'm only rounding a corner. And then if I press E, you can see I'm just extruding around the corner just so it's not a dead end here, and then we see some jagged rocks coming out. And normally Control R, I will just try and get the same amount of subdivisions. You can roll your mouse wheel to get way more, but I only want one to keep it consistent on each side. And then, because it's object based, that's it, that's all you need to do. And now it rounds the cliff. So if we go back to our camera, we can see it's nice. And I'm going to tab, double select the upper faces and just drag it up, E, Z, and then Control R. I'm going to roll mouse wheel once to get 2 subdivisions, and then it fills the screen. We could probably do with a bit more displacement, so I'm just going to head over to the displacement node, just see 0.6. Might even be a bit big, so I mean bits, yeah, you'll see. I'm just going to lower the scale. You do this if you want, it's up to you, but I'm doing it just because I want that, which looks a bit more cliffy. And at this point I would tab into edit mode, select vertex mode, just pick any one, down here will do, and then press O so that you've got proportional editing, that's what it's called, and then just drag, press G, drag it, and if you roll your mouse wheel, you see you can increase the area of effect. So I just want kind of that, and then just pull other bits about a bit just to give it a bit of, I mean it's not necessary because the material does the job it wants. I mean does the job pretty good anyway. I'm pressing GX just to make sure I'm going out that way. GX, roll it up a little bit, maybe not that much, and then I'm just gonna GX, just roll the top of the cliff back. That's not quite what I want to do. I should have dragged one of these. GX, just to kind of round it off at the top. Bush. Let's have a look. Let's have a butchers. Yes, it's nice. I like. Alright, cool. Now we just gotta add something for the cliff to stand on. And that's gonna be a landscape. Shift A, mesh, landscape. There she blows. And I'm gonna make it less tall by pressing SZ. I'm just scaling it down on the Z axis. Just press S to scale it up. GZ to pull it down. That's still too much. Oh, it could be alright. SZ, and just flattening it with S and Z, and that might work. Maybe that's too flat now. Okay, let's have a look. Alright, and then what I would normally do is tab into edit mode, select face selection, and then press C. And then if you roll your mouse wheel up and down, so if you roll your mouse wheel you get it bigger and smaller, just a selection thing, and I'm going to select everything that the camera can see because I don't need the rest, and if I'm going to have to put a subdiv on this because we're going to be putting the same material on the cliff onto the ground to get some sporadic rocks, you know. So even though the camera can't actually see these bits, I just like to keep it like one big pile. Alright. Oh, Mr. Couple. Alright, just double check by going back into camera. Yep. And then press Control I and X faces. Bush. Now we only got this. And so what I would do is Shift click, Control A. I have in my quick menu copy materials, but I can't remember what controls what you need to press to get separate to copy material. So just select the plane and then just select the material from the list. And if we add a subdivision on that, maybe up to 2, because it's already got a hell of a lot of subdivisions on it anyway. Let's have a butcher's. Yes. What I've done there, I think Control A, scale. That's better, because I'd flattened it. It all gone a bit janky. Hang on. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And this one, I want to make. Hang on, let me just check. Is my GPU switched off again? Yeah, it's not hugely important how this looks too much because we're going to put grass all over it. But I might just bump it up to 3. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so that's the ground. And what are we on? 11 minutes. Right, okay, so that's part 2. Yeah, that's a good place to stop part 2. So we got the cliff and we got the ground. This may look a bit of a mess at the moment, and because it is slightly too much displacement. Although, as I say, when we make some grass and add it to this, you'll see why it's. Oh, what I didn't do, because this has copied this material, you've got to go to this button and press that, so it makes it a material specific to this, so that when we lower the displacement, it's not quite as strong. And let me just crack up the dust a bit on these floor rocks. There we go. Okay, so yeah, there we are. So we got the ground and the cliff sorted. We're going to move on. The next one we'll add the grass. Then the next one we'll probably do the trees and add a sky. That's it. Alright, cool. I'll see you in the next part, y'all. Bye bye.